Hello, Cliff Stanwick, Stanwick Real Estate, and today I'm doing a market analysis report for last month's sales. So this is June 2023 for South Placer, California. Welcome to my Facebook Live, and this will also be on YouTube. There's no other way to say it, but this market is a nightmare for buyers. And this is kind of a recurrent theme in real estate. Okay, I've been doing this for about 20 years, and the market always favors, at least in South Placer County, one party or the other. And it's been essentially a seller's market for the last couple of years. There's been an inventory problem. We all know what the problems with the market is, but there's a new twist to this market which is really, really problematic. And what's happening now, and what has happened from my experience, and something that's not talked about by a lot of real estate agents is we let you essentially put yourself in a predicament when this market is favoring one party or the other. Okay, we just let it happen, all right? If you want a house, you're going to do whatever is happening in the market to win the house. And to win a house right now in this market is a nightmare. And I'm going to talk about it. I'll probably break down some of the market data in the market in some later Facebooks. But here's what really happens. Okay, first of all, ignore the market data, because the market data is old. The market data is months old. It doesn't apply. You can go out to Zillow, you can go out to Redfin, you can go out to Realtor.com, you can go out wherever you want to go and even look at Realtor.com. That is all 30-day trending, lagging data. It doesn't matter, right? And it doesn't matter what the interest rates are. I did a video a few months ago when I looked at the national data, and I've tried to tell people this, or tried to show people, and the data's all there. Interest rates don't matter. Inflation doesn't matter. Unemployment doesn't matter. The only thing that matters are banks lending money. And guess what? The banks are lending money, and it's over 7% right now to buy a house. So that's the going rate. And as long as the banks lend money, the housing market goes up. And since 2008, this market has always gone up. And there's no reason why it isn't going to go up, okay? And if you sit there and you want to place yourself in the basket of overpaying for a house, or you're just not a buyer, okay? If you don't want to sell your house because the interest rates are you have too good of a mortgage rate on your property, well, you're not a seller. So let's talk about the people selling, and let's talk about the people buying. The people selling their house are killing it, because the agents aren't doing anything in anyone's best interest to sell a house or buy a house. Okay, I'll say it again. The agents aren't doing anything in anyone's best interest to sell a house or buy a house, because at the end of the day, we only get paid when these things close. Okay, that's the reality. So what's happening in the new reality? Well, if you don't have 20% down, or you don't have a conventional loan, or you're not, or you're not cash, you're not winning a house. And to be frank, this market has become even more ridiculous than it was last year. Why is it more ridiculous? Because the interest rates are 7%. So what does that mean? That means that when the money was cheap, no one cared about the appraisal. No one cared about anything, because you're going to get financed, because you could afford the payment. Now, everybody coming into this market could be marginal, right? So what are agents doing now? Well, it's not what agents are doing. It's what some agents are doing. And being a monkey see, monkey do business, which this is what's happening. First of all, houses are being sold way over ask, all right? There are no longer concessions for the majority of these houses to help you with your financing. Okay, so if you think that sellers now are giving concessions, or they're going to allow you to have concessions to purchase a house, no, they're not. Why? Because a lot of these houses now are multiple counter offers. Okay, so what happens in a multiple counter offer is a lot of times the agent won't say best and final offer. Okay, they'll basically go out there and say, hey, the offers we have right now are $50,000 over ask, and they've waived all their contingencies. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means a couple things. It means if there isn't reports or disclosures that basically you're buying the house as is, and you're basically putting your deposit at risk. It also means that if you need an appraisal and it doesn't come in, you've got to bring the additional cash, or you're going to lose your deposit. Okay, I've never lost anyone's deposit in this business because I usually don't like to do this, as is. No, waive all your contingencies, but that's the game being played right now. Okay, how's that in anyone's best interest to buy a house without doing any inspections? I don't think it is, but guess what? That's what's going on right now. All right. So now if you're a buyer in this market, not only are you getting stuck with it as is, but now you're being asked to waive all your contingencies, from the loan to the appraisal to the inspection to the insurance, everything. You realize, California is in a wildfire zone. Okay, maybe Roseville's not in an above average or high risk zone, but if you're buying a house out in Loomis or Penryn or Newcastle, you may have some sanity with the agent. But I just tried to buy a place last weekend, and guess what? Waive all the contingencies. Okay? That's the game being played right now. So the market's horrible. It's a nightmare. The agents aren't going to do anything to make it reasonable or fair. It is what it is, right? And so that's what today's all about. Houses, there's no discounts unless you can find a house that's been on the market for like 45 days. And again, in this market, it's probably got a host of problems with it. But you're not going to get any concessions. You're not going to get any help with your loan. You're going to have to offer way above the asking price. You're going to have to bring cash to the close. You're probably going to have to pay all the closing costs for the seller. That's the market now. And the reality is right now is probably going to be easier than next year, because you have to kind of believe that if the rates go down, what happens to this market? Okay, we're not going to see any inventory again because we have sellers that aren't sellers because they have a low mortgage rate. But anyone who sells is going to get paid even more money next year because the affordability, which again is a relative term. There's no affordability in this market. Like, let's not even talk about it. It's California. You either have the money to buy the house or you don't. And if you don't buy a house now, nobody I know that says, "Oh, I wish I'd, I'm not going to buy a house today." If you ask them whether they bought a house 5 years ago, they would have said, "Well, it was really expensive, but I wish I had." Right? This is I wish I had market. Right? At the end of the whole journey here, there's only two ways to create any wealth in this, and as a person working, right? And I got gray hair. I can tell you I've worked for 40 years. I go back and I look at the things that I've made out on, okay, whether it's the stock market, whether it's real estate, and I have other real estate. The real estate has been the win, okay? So at the end of the day, that's what's happening. But it's super painful, and it's a nightmare for buyers in this market, and I don't see it getting any better. The prices aren't going down in California. We have a housing shortage. It's just a nightmare, right? I'm going to say it 12 times. It's a nightmare. But if you need help buying a house and you want to get some reality on buying a house, I'll tell you how ugly it is out there. don't bother looking at his estimate. His estimate's wrong. So with that, I'm just going to end this video. It wasn't supposed to be a super long one. It's just the real estate market's a nightmare for buyers, and it isn't getting any better. So thank you very much for your time today. You can find me on this Facebook page at Stanwick Real Estate. You can reach out to me on my website, which is stanwickre.com. And of course, you can find me on YouTube at Stanwick Real Estate. I want to thank everyone for their time today. I'm sorry for the truth, but the truth is it's a nightmare for buyers. Have a great day.